Continuamos con nuestro ciclo virtual de experiencias significativas Educando en tiempos de pandemia con la presentación Flip Learning, an opportunity to promote active learning strategies at university level by Professor María Ariel Ortiz Jiménez. She holds a bachelor's degree in basic education, majoring in English from Universidad Distrital Francisco José de Caldas. Currently, she is a candidate to the master's program in the language teaching at Universidad Pedagógica y Tecnológica de Colombia. She is a full-time teacher, at the International Languages Institute at the UPTC in the virtual area. Her interests in research, education, and pedagogy are literacies, writing practices, and flipped learning. Welcome, Mari.
Thank you, Angelita, and thank you everybody for being here. It's a pleasure to be here as well as one of the presenters. Well, I'm going to share my screen so we can start with the topic we have for today. And it is based on my experience applying this approach, flipped learning approach, at a university level with students of our bachelor's degree in basic education on Saturdays. So I named this presentation Flipped Learning, an opportunity to promote active learning strategies at a university level. So to start with, I'm going to contextualize a little bit about the methodology or the approach of flipped learning. So in this case, we have to keep in mind that flipped learning is a pedagogical approach in which students have the instruction in an individual space, and in the class or in the classroom, let's say that it's not happening nowadays, but in the class, we can promote other kind of activities as active learning strategies to reinforce or to make this learning process meaningful for them. Okay, so in this case, flipped learning allows us to prepare more activities for them and to take students' activities in mind and students' needs and interests as well. Okay, so flipped learning. Flipped learning is based on 4 pillars that we have to keep in mind. The first one is flexible environment. The second one is learning culture. Also, we have intentional content, and one of the main ones, that is a professional educator. That is our role, and I will let you know why. So in this case, the 4 pillars we have here have an objective. Each pillar has an objective to help us develop this approach in the classroom. So in this case, I'm going to mention something here that is professional educator, because in this case, we move from the traditional view of a teacher of English to someone that is facilitator in the guidance of the process. Okay, so in this case, everything depends on what students do in the class. Okay, well, what else do we have here? The active learning process for students, it's very important, because in this case, we can relate active learning to the learning by doing, right? It is also important because it matches what students really need inside the classroom or in our classes. This is not only for English. This is like a pedagogy that covers many other aspects students may need for their lives. So in this case, I was looking for something to help my students in this time of a pandemic situation, because they were not used to study everything virtually or remotely. So I was very worried about it. And also, I'm really worried because I was like thinking, well, what kind of knowledge my students have about studying virtually or remotely. So I was thinking about it. I was thinking about the sessions, because the sessions are 4 hours, and I think it is a very long time just to be interacting in Zoom or in Meet. So I was thinking for something that allows my student to handle the learning process themselves. So, well, I was looking for many activities, many strategies. I had a little bit of experience flipping my classes. So, well, I tried to combine some aspects, and I will let you know why. Well, why active learning strategies? So I related this part to what we most of us know about Bloom's taxonomy, and also because in this image we can see like 90% of what we do is the way we learned. So that's why I related flip learning to active learning strategies. And also because active learning strategies allow the students to analyze, to define, to create, and to evaluate, that are high order thinking skills. So basically, I want them to develop a little bit more these skills while they were learning actively. Well, here we have some examples of what active learning strategies we can implement in the classroom. Reflecting writing, we can generate debates or questions. They can teach what they are learning, summarize, self-assessment or peer assessment. Well, so in this case, 75% of the class depends on what students do, and 25% depends on our guidance, right? So we're helping them in the process, but actually they are the ones that are doing everything. So I decided to create a route. I'm going to show you an example of what I did. For example, this is the lesson plan I created for the second session. We're working also with Google Classroom, so I uploaded all the materials there, and also the videos of our sessions. I uploading them there. Well, so this is like the route they have to do. First part, it was like to teach vocabulary. In this case, I introduced the topic on how to teach vocabulary, and I asked them like, as a warm-up activity, what do you do to learn new words? It is important to talk from our experience. So I want them to tell me, what do they do to learn new words? So if they are going to be teachers, they have to look for all those strategies. So in the future, they will be able to implement them. Well, in this case, I used a very useful tool that is Padlet. Maybe you will know, or you already know about it. I'm going to show you here what they wrote in this warm-up question. So the first question was just like to warm up, to place them in what I was looking for to them to understand about learning and teaching vocabulary. So these are their answers. We can all of them can read the answers of their partners. They can give comments. They can reflect. They can suggest new things. So I think this one was a really useful tool because it enhanced collaborative work as well. And then I divided my session in taking into account the flip learning methodology. That was to give them the individual space for them to study, and then to come to the session, to the class, ready to participate and to do the things planned in the session. So here they have some links in which they were supposed to find the information about teaching vocabulary. And I related the first approach, that is total physical response for them. So here they have a video that they can access at any moment. Here they have have some other websites where they can find more information about total physical response to teach vocabulary. That was our first topic. And as an active learning strategy, they have to create a sketch note based on that information they gathered from the video and they gathered from the website. So here I place the links. For example, here they found a link on how to create a sketch note. Yeah, so they had to read, they had to take notes down, they had to review the topics to study by themselves. So they were able to create their sketch notes. I'm going to show you here some examples of their sketch notes. I told them, hey, I know you don't have many like technological resources. Maybe if you have them, good. If you don't have them, it is good as well. Just do it with the resources you have. So they came with all these sketch notes, like one, for example, this one is like very creative. They were very using colors, summarizing the information from those three sources. So it was a really, really nice activity to enhance the learning process. Some others did it using more like other kind of technological tools like Canva or Genially. But well, the idea was to summarize the information in a very creative way. And in this case, they were able to handle and to work in their own piece, right? Okay, so I have to say this process has been also co-teaching process. We have learned a lot. I have to say that we have prepared these kind of activities with a colleague, John Mesa, Professor John Mesa, who was also very involved in the process, or who has been also very involved in the process. We haven't finished these Saturday sessions. So what we are doing with all these activities, our students are supposed to create a portfolio to gather all this information. So at the end, they will have the information summarized, and they will have also the information for their further practice, right? Well, in the co-teaching process, we have done many different activities. I'm going to show you just one in which students were supposed to practice pronunciation, and Professor John Mesa proposed them to create a tongue twister using their names, using a place, and using an answer to a why question. So students were creating their tongue twisters, and they were very enthusiastic to do so. And but I was thinking how to gather all those valuable activities and outcomes from my students. So I decided to use another tool that is very, very useful, and it is Flipgrid. In this tool, students were able to record themselves, and in 30 seconds to 1 minute video, saying or telling their the tongue twisters they have created. In this case, what I asked them was to watch the others, their partners' presentations, their partners' videos, and to give some comments. Maybe some of them were funny, they were laughing, they were relaxed. So it was another strategy we found to promote learning, or to have students involved in their learning process as well. So then I decided to ask them about their experience studying in these kind of situations, virtually, remotely. I asked them if they had the opportunity to study English before, using these kind of technologies, or, the way they were used to study English. So 28% said yes, but 71% said no. So I was really worried that after the first session, I was a little bit concerned about addressing the sessions because, as I told you before, they were 4-hour sessions, and I didn't want to be there in front of the computer, like explaining and talking all the time. No, I just want them to do things and I just want them to participate. So I have 46 students in these sessions, and I was really worried because of this result. So, well, in that case, I started to look for information. Even though I was doing my planning, even though I was preparing my classes, I thought that maybe I needed something more. And well, I found the following information. So for us as teachers, language teachers, or well, maybe some other teachers can have advantage of this. It is very important to create a learning road for them, for the students to do some steps to follow, to have the guidance along the process. So the first thing, or the first tip I suggest after my experience, is decide whether to implement a synchronic or an asynchronic or mixed session. Why? We have to be very clear if we're going what we're going to do in the asynchronic part and what are we going to do in the synchronic session, because sometimes being there in front of the computer for 2 hours, it's like exhausting. So we have to be very, very creative with this kind of activity. So it's very important to know since the beginning if we're doing synchronic, asynchronic, or mixed. Also, because in that sense, we will know in which part of the process we will apply that individual learning space for the students and organize the objectives and the results at the end as well. Well, my second tip after doing all this process is, to prepare a lesson plan. Well, I know we all do a lesson plan. We all have a lesson plan ready for our classes. But in this case, it has to be something that the students can access easily. And for example, in this case, I have the presentation. I uploaded the presentation to the Google Classroom. Students can access the presentation at any time. They know what they have to do at the beginning. They can review. They have the links. They have the sources. So the information has to be available for the students at any moment. In this case, you may be wondering that something like, well, what do you do with the students that don't have access? Thank God, most of the students in this case, in my case, have access to the internet sessions, to the Meet sessions and the internet resource. But something that I have done in those kind of cases is that I download it as a PDF and I send them to the students. I try to attach the videos. I try to attach the links as well. We have communication through WhatsApp. We have a WhatsApp group created, and they are very, very open and very wondering about things regarding our sessions. So they say, hey, teacher, could you please send me the link about listening activities or things like that? So we have to cooperate with that, and I send them the links. If you're going to review, if you're going to practice, why not? So I try to help them having access to the material as well. Okay. The third tip, I have created challenging activities, and I say challenging activities not in the sense of not helping them or like they think they are very difficult. No, but challenging in the sense that they have to think, they have to reflect, they have to create, they have to do many things, so they know they are learning by themselves. And also follow-up activities to promote autonomy. Well, A very good advantage of flipped learning is that autonomy is a key aspect. They work, they do, and they apply things by themselves. So being a facilitator and being a guidance is very important and vital. But the follow-up activities we do are just like to know that you're doing things well, and we can do it in our synchronic sessions. And tip number 4, let's say, is that we have to think also about the resources and the tools we're going to use. And this depends on the objectives we have prepared for our session. So in this methodology and in these times that we have been facing all these remote and virtual and asynchronous, synchronic sessions and things like that. So we have to think about tools like this to help our students become the owners of their learning process. So in this case, I have I have pinned these 3 that are the most important because I know them and I have implemented them. So like creating catching presentations for them, not like just a PDF or very simple or like without like the resources they need, but very creative presentations, and also a document in which we can include the links and the resources they need to review. Fomenting or fostering the collaborative learning. So as we did in the flip read activity, so they have to go and check their peers' outcomes, and they have to comment something about it. And also something that is very important is to create rubrics to evaluate that process. As the last outcome of this process is to create a virtual portfolio. We're working on the creation of this rubric. So at the end, students, we will know how they are going to be evaluated. That is pretty important to let them know how they are going to be evaluated so they can do it much better. Some of my students' comments are like autonomy's promotion. They have recognized that they have to work a little bit more, but they are grateful because of that. They are not complaining because they feel overwhelmed in the session with all of the activities we have to do. No, they say that it's an approach that allows autonomy and that they can work in the time slowly. They can go back and review the topic, and they have been very keen to do more things. And they say that is a new approach and new methodology for them. Maybe they were used to work in the traditional classroom and they found it very innovative. Also, they say that they have to use TICs, let's say the tools, and they have to learn a lot of things about digital literacy and how to handle those tools they have experience of, they have used in the process. And also that the learning environment has been very collaborative, the feedback, the process, and the comments of their partners have been very, very positive. So far, these are positive aspects of the process we have been implementing these days. And also aspects to improve. Participation. Sometimes they say that they don't have the time to participate or in the session. So that is something we have to improve. Also, teamwork. They found in the first activity, they found a little bit difficult to work with their peers, but but it's something that we have to improve as well. And another comment was to do more reading activities in English to improve their English level. So these are some comments from them to improve. So I think as a teacher, I will work on them for further sessions. So in this case, well, that was everything I wanted to share with you my experience. And well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mary. We have a couple of comments. Saulo Aconcha says, integrated skills, super. And Silvia Marcela Mojica says, we need to explore the creativity in our students and teachers. That's the way it is. Okay. So thank you, Mari, for talking about your experiences regarding flipped learning with these bachelor's students from FESAT. They are a very important community in our university also. So thank you so much for mentioning them. And thank you so much for being here. See you later, Mari.
Thank you so much, Angelita, and thank you everybody for your participation. Hope to see you in the next session. Bye-bye.
Okay.